Yeah, I'm sorry, my laptop just shut off on me. I apologize.
Nope, you're good. You're good. It's
It shut off
okay.
on me. Everything that could possibly go wrong is just doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is technically the very first live stream. So this is kind of
Okay.
why I do this stuff as a podcast usually.
Yeah, you're on
This
my
is good.
phone now, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
get my laptop back on.
No, you're good. We're winning. We're winning right now. All right. First, we didn't have Yangief in the audio. Now, okay. We're gonna start over.
Do you want me to continue on my phone or try to get back on the laptop?
Either way, whatever you want to do. It looks good there. It sounds pretty
It
decent.
does?
So yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me
Actually,
just.
the camera on your phone's probably better quality.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, since we didn't have any audio with you, and I'm fairly certain Streamlabs doesn't record stuff as you're live streaming, um,
Mm-hmm.
let's just kind of like start over, right?
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good.
let's let everybody know, like, you're a police officer, and you play Union Arena. How does that balance? How does that work for you? What drew you into Union Arena?
Um. Well, being a sheriff deputy, it does have its stressful moments, and I do what I can to make sure that I don't bring that stuff home. So I am a gamer at heart. Anyone that knows me, I've been playing fighting games for as long as I can remember. But UA was started off as supposed to be a hobby derived from Yu-Gi-Oh, because I did play in Yu-Gi-Oh too. The only problem with Yu-Gi-Oh is if you don't have money, you're not doing that well. So
Mm,
Union Arena seemed more affordable, and I'm the sole provider for my family, so money is tight. So a card game with anime IPs going against each other, I get to play what I've always been discussing and debating about on the field with, it just was a great outlet to deal with work.
yeah, yeah, and just to come off of that and to kind of reiterate for those who didn't hear it, you know, um, it's really high stress being a cop, and you're dealing with that every day. And how do you how do you make that work? Because people, like we said previously, come home, and they want to de-stress, they want to do more passive things, but you come home into something with a much higher level of intensity, and like you just keep that energy going. Like, how do you do that, and why?
Well, some people like to go to the gym. I like to go to the mental gym, and I feel like UA is that for me. I love playing against different people of all different skill levels, because you get to see their thought process, their creative builds, and we get to mesh it. So it's a place where not only do I get to play some high intense matches, but I get to literally let my hair down, joke around, and build friendships while also building up on skill.
Awesome. That's great that you're able to keep that going, because I mean that would wear on people a little bit. I know if I brought my work stress home with me, which is I'm not a cop, and I don't worry about a lot of the things that you worry about. um I don't know if I would be able to translate that stress into something more stressful, and then, you know basically relax from it. So um I forget where I was going with that. I'm all thrown off from
Well,
the technical errors.
it's really true. Um, when you're dealing with situations such as um, walking into a domestic and figuring out who's at fault and trying to calm both parties down, when you get home, it's a lot easier to deal with picking what life to hit because if it's a special, who cares? I'm not going
Hmm.
to the shower in real life. So I get to go every time I get to come home from work and see my family. UA is just a bonus, and it's a bonus and it's pleasure. So it's not as stressful as some people put it. I know no one likes to lose, but everyone loves to play. I don't focus on losing. I just focus on the play.
Okay. Yeah, and then just to reiterate off of that one last time, you mentioned coming home, spending time with your family, and then also playing this game. How do you balance those hours, like just the irregular police hours? Like, you have your assigned shift, but like I can imagine if something really happens and they need you, you gotta go, right? On calls and late nights, and how do you balance that family time? And with now you're the newest new member of Team Dojo, so you're gonna have those team practices and then um, those testing times and whatnot. How do you work all of that together?
Well, first and foremost, I got to thank my family. My wife and my two kids that support me and support UA. Uh, both really all three of them are really happy about me being in the dojo. They were excited for me, but them also understanding that this is how dad decompresses coming home from work. Also, we set aside time for each other. Like, me and my son, we have our Crunchyroll hour where we're currently watching Daemons of Shadow and Fire Force. And me and the wife, we're both gamers, and she's always supported me when I played Street Fighter. Going for like tournaments. Well, they don't not call regionals, but I guess our bigger tournaments. And also when I did Yu-Gi-Oh. But even the Yu-Gi-Oh, she's a lot happier with UA than Yu-Gi-Oh. I'll say that much. Yeah.
Every time you take your wallet out, it's not like, "What you doing, baby? Put
Right.
it away."
Right. But with UA, and she thinks the cards are cuter too. Not that it matters, but she loves watching. She loves the artwork on the UA cards versus the Yu-Gi-Oh. I thought I played with pretty. I thought Modoche was cute enough for her, but I guess that price tag with it wasn't took away the cuteness from it.
So my fiance is not a gamer in any sense of the imagination, and she's completely unfamiliar with the world of TCG. So the very first time I took her into a comic shop, because we were out and about, and I came across an old stomping grounds comic shop that I was at, and I was like, "Oh, let me pop in here and see if they've got anything real quick." And I went in. I was talking to the guy behind the counter, and he whips out Nikkei cards to show her as her first exposure to the game. I was just like, why, bro? Don't do that to me.
Out of every IP, Nikkei. Wow.
Yeah. She deadpan
God.
looked at me. She goes, "This is what you're buying?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, I think my wife would have had a similar reaction. Thank goodness the first card she saw from my UA collection was Yellow Saitama. She was like, "Oh, I like this guy." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
I had to bring her home and like spread out my Kenshin and Black Clover cards and was like, "See, see."
Oh God.
I'm not doing that, I swear. But we're on a fun track, and let's just revisit that question again, bro. If you had to arrest a deck for crimes against the meta, who are you putting in handcuffs?
Like I said, this is a painful question because I love the anime. It's one of my favorite animes. However, due to crimes against humanity, forget the meta, it would be Red Kenshin. Hands down. Hands down, Red Kenshin. I would find the Bato side manslayer, take the cuss from Saito, put it on Kenshin. I had escort it myself to Rikers Island.
Yeah,
He'd be done.
yeah, poor Kenshin. I've had people sincerely upset with me for playing that deck. It was the IP that got me into the game. I just saw it. I was looking for Shadowverse cards, and
Okay.
I saw it and I was like, I can interact with Kenshin. It's my number one favorite anime of all time. I've watched the series 9 times. I've read every single manga. Like, I have all the movies. Like, I love Kenshin. So I was like, all right, to hell with Shadowverse. Let's go with Kenshin. And
So I was excited for Kenshin, just like you. But my favorite character is Saito. Saito and Sanosuke. They're my favorite characters. And I got into Saito, and I remember being told that deck looks boring. Yep.
you know what? That early at time, it really didn't get that much love. It really didn't. It was probably when Eva came out, we started seeing Saito more.
I agree. I have to agree.
Yeah.
But like you said, Kenshin got a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And
Oh, dude, you should see dude, Kenshin caused problems with people. Like I said, it was my very first IP. I saw the red deck. I'm like, this looks really good. I put the red deck. I net decked it because I obviously had no idea what I was doing. And like anybody who's played with me and they've seen my custom table, I clearly no idea what I was doing. I built this table before I knew how to play the game. That's why instead of life, it says prizes, and it says backline instead of energy line. Yeah. So, uh, I went to a locals for my very first tournament, and I sat down, and I forget what the guy is playing, but as soon as I dropped a zero drop Kenshin, he was like, "I'm gonna see you outside after this." He was
My
mad.
God, you think you would have got that same reaction if you had my uniform on?
No, no. But at the same time, it was just like I know you should have seen the look on my face. I'm like, why?
What?
like, what's going on with you? And he's just like, he was mad. We ended up playing. It was fine in the end, but he
I got you.
just not happy, not happy.
Nah,
Um,
I got it.
so we're gonna move into some other topics here because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are interested in hearing about uh the more competitive side of Yankee. If you mentioned you were a professional Street Fighter player, and you know you went to Virginia, scored 78th place, and then you went to Florida and just absolutely improved yourself and went to was 58th, correct?
Right.
So, like looking back on that event, let's start with Virginia. What was like your first moment that was like, welcome to the big leagues, buddy?
So I will say it was my first UA regional, but not my first card regional. I've had a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh regionals. However, those Yu-Gi-Oh regionals, I didn't fare too well. I didn't take, well, pun intended, I could not afford to take it that serious as I could in UA. However, in UA it was different. I had first of all, I had my training partner, Gerard Cross. We've played Street Fighter together, Yu-Gi-Oh, and you'll see him pop in more frequently in the dojo. Hopefully in D3 server as well, and yours as well too. So I told him about Sleeveless Underground, and he sounds excited about it. But he's always been like, if I'm Ryu, he's the Ken, and if I'm Vegeta, he's the Goku. We've always been sparring. But I think it expanded more once he got me to go to Discord, and I fell into D3 and the dojo and playing those players and hearing them talk about ideas and way to play, stuff like going too tall and going wider and being more conservative with your kill spells and your finals. Hitting Virginia, I was nervous. I was nervous wreck, especially Saturday. Virginia had a side event, a 3v3, and here I am doing great in rank in the dojo, and with my two teammates, my brother TK and my brother Draw Cross, they're doing amazing. I am I'm the hull of the ship. I'm the iceberg for the Titanic. I'm sinking everybody. They're keeping everything afloat. However, um, it was still in good spirits. Hey, you still played well. You still did very well. I wasn't down about anything. And then the next day in regionals, I get top 128, my first UA regional. So that, and also the my teammates for the dojo. I wasn't a team member then, but they treated me as if I was. Good advice from Speed. Good advice from Casanova. Great advice from some Gutless's D3's Gutless. Great advice from him as well. All that made me feel like, I can actually do this. I can actually possibly do better than 128. Maybe the next one, my goal was top 64, and it happened. And feels good. It feels good to set out a goal and accomplish it.
Yeah, and congratulations to you on that. That's fantastic to be able to pull that sort of record in your very first time. I know, like going into larger tournaments in previous games, and I'm about to age myself really bad. I played Fear professionally back in the day. I remember my very first big tournament. I was just all nerves, and I played like crap. So, it's cool that you're. And I imagine once again being a cop kind of trained you to keep your cool in high stress situations and things that would give you nerves and whatnot. A little bit of that like a stage performance situation, right? Um, well, that being said, going into your next regional, you placed 58th. Were there adjustments that you made based on your previous performance that affected this for you? Like, for instance, play style or deck choice or anything like that. Like, what did you change up? What did you learn that helped you achieve 20 additional places in the next tournament?
I think what helped out was building on top of the training regimen that me and the dojo's speed came up with. We started off with using rank as a simulation as a regional round. Because in rank, if you win, you gain points. If you lose points. Not too far from a regional. You want to get as many points, you want to win as much as you can. Um, However, what we did was focus on fewer deck selections. I played Saito for Virginia, and I was play testing and putting myself through the ringer with Toguro. Toguro is what I was going to bring with me to Florida.
I don't even want to talk
I
to you about Toguro. I remember the things you did to me with that.
I was literally about to even buy the shoulder pads and show up to Florida, thinking I was going to be the Toguro and Impact 3 my way to top 16, top 64. And I think it was 2 weeks prior to Florida where I hit a slump, and I was finding out through playtesting, various playtesting, through good players too, that Toguro, not that Toguro couldn't do it, I couldn't do it with Toguro. And I had to take a step back, swallow that humble pie pill, and just think to myself, what is it that I can do? And I got some great advice from Gutless, and he shared with me about Milwoo and seeing how we were thinking about where the meta was or what could we possibly face in Florida. And Milwoo, I played test. I actually played Gutless's deck the day before regionals at the Airbnb where D3 were staying at, and it just flowed naturally. It just connected, and I was like, you know what? Let's see how we do it here. And like magic, it was just flowed. It was like an amazing concert. All the notes were hit, and I'm happy with it. I was really happy with it.
That being said, what part of the regional, like what round were you in when it finally hit, and then what caused it to trigger with you that your hard work was paying off from all the testing, practicing, and like kind of that self analysis, like having to take a piece of that humble pie. Like when did it hit? Like, man, I earned this.
I would say I would say round one. I would say round one, sitting. What was nerve wracking about round one, and in this moment you're talking about, is that to my left was Jane, and she's playing her deck, and I'm playing mine, and I'm like, oh smokes! I'm thinking about what's in front of me. But I'm like, I'm playing against Jane. Like this is amazing, and my opponent's playing Yellow Sakamoto, and I just don't understand how things work the way they did, because I was play tested against that deck like crazy 2 days. I mean, a day before the event, and seeing him go really tall, really early, and keeping the pace and how I was controlling everything, I felt like, oh yeah, I definitely leveled up. This is no more KO Ken Yangief. This is Super Saiyan Yangief. I think we're good here.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Well, I mean, all right, and that all being said, and you're kind of talking about like being a little more humble and whatnot, and like all these different things about yourself that brought you into the regionals and helped you improve. What would you say is the key that separates the guy who's content with being at their locals and the person who goes, I'm going competitive, I'm going to regionals, I'm gonna take this hobby and I'm gonna do more with it than just hang out with my buddies?
So the crazy part about that question is when I got to UA, I looked Gerard Cross in the eyes and I said, hey, listen, this is not going beyond the house. This is just going to be a house game. We're not doing anything more than this. And next thing you know, we're buying Kenshin cards and we're going to shops and winning store credit and building the library. And it just, I had to look. It was me. I was determined not to let it go far. But the game is so great. The community is so amazing, and the fun is there. But I felt like that niche when I want to say that you feel that itch when you're playing a whole bunch of people and they're telling you how good you are, and you feel like that pond you're swimming in gets tighter and smaller, and now instead of staying there or being comfortable there, you want to swim in the ocean. You want to go where you can finally feel some defeat, and you can, iron sharpens iron, and you can only cut up against wood for so long before you're the only blade in the shed. So you want to be compared to, and you want to test your strength. And I think that's what did it for me. For those who want to keep it local and just play, for fun, I implore that, because that's an option for UA. But for me, I felt that drive, and the same thing in the sheriff's office. You can be content in the division you are, but sometimes you'll get that itch. You're like, can I do patrol? Can I do animal services? Can I do SRO? And you go for it, and then you find, whether you can or you can't. But it's an experience, it's a moment, and I'm just that type to go for it. And two things are going to happen. I'm going to exceed and be amazing, or it's going to be an amazing story I can share later.
That's awesome. Let's kind of like move forward then. Talk about the decks that you did use. So we've got your list right here that you took to the Virginia regionals. We should, go ahead and give everybody a chance to have a look at that. And my app has decided to stop working again. Not
Hey, believe it or
great.
not,
There we
we
go.
have that. We have that happen a lot in the sheriff's office. You're not alone, brother.
Yeah. I'm still like working out the kinks with it. This is all new to me. I literally learned how to use this particular app yesterday. So,
Adaptation at its finest.
we're looking at the deck. You took purple Saito, man. Talk to us about it. What did you have going on here?
First and foremost, Saito is like I say, he's my favorite character in the Kenshin in the Kenshin anime, and that deck list right there. Again, I got good suggestions and good help with it. I played it standard like majority of the other Saito players. However, the moment it got out of character for me per se was reducing the APs. Reducing the APs was, to me, I've always liked hearing about people in teams that played with like 3 APs, but when you think about it, they kind of are like triggerless cards in a sense, because the only time they matter in life is when they're the last card. Mm-hmm. So I hated their drawing them so much, and I already had a good board, or them getting hit out of life several times, and it's like it's not doing anything for me.
So,
but
when you mean reducing the APs, you're talking about the finals here, correct?
Yeah, finals. Yep. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, the finals.
Okay. Yeah, because it looks like you're only running 2 of them. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Gutless that told me, having more than 2 doesn't mean that you're going to hit it out of life more than not. And to tell you the truth, I've hit more finals out of my life when I have it at 2 than when I had it at 4, which is insane, but it's happened. But another thing I liked about it too was going into Virginia. I assumed, like a lot of other people did, that it was going to be a Sea of Kenshin. And there was a Sea of Kenshin there. I just didn't catch that wave. I caught Red Shinji, Yellow Girls, the mirror matches of Saito, but I only got one Kenshin. And I mean, it did pan out. I did win that match, but the deck did great. And what I would recommend, what I say about that deck too, is that it's 8 rounds of the same thing, so I'm not stressing too much. So that's what I've been strengthening that deck.
So the other thing that I'm seeing here that's a little bit different about your deck than what I normally see is the inclusion of Eiji Mishima, the the tap to oh, I'm sorry, the
Yep.
rest to give it the extra energy. I don't really see that too often in the purple Saito decks. Well, it's just in my experience. Maybe it is a lot more common than I'm giving it credit for. It's just not something that I've personally seen. Um, why did you include that in a deck that you wanted to take with you to regionals?
Well, I know the biggest fear, well, the biggest thing that was told to me about regionals is for some reason that's when everyone gets their magnet of bricking. So I did everything I could to possibly help with bricking. I have the 4-0 Kenshins, the 4-0 Saitos, the 4 fake zero drops. So you have 8 natural zeros and 4 pseudo zeros. But the EG was an extra 2 zeros to actually have 10 natural zeros just to try to help the curve,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that I can prevent bricking if possible.
That's a really, really good reason, actually. That's something I'm gonna have to take it because I also play Purple Saito, not as often as I should. But I do have the deck and I do enjoy playing it. I play a lot of
Well,
stuff.
one tidbit, one of my mirror matches was against Will, who was the highest Saito player in Vegas, I think last year Vegas.
Yeah.
And he showed me a play when we were going against each other. So he has the EG there. And his turn, he goes first. He puts the EG there. I'm like, okay, standard. So I play my 2 zeros there, and it's his turn. He rests that EG and puts down 2 of the Kenshins that double energy, that generate extra energy when they're active.
Okay.
So in one turn, he went from 1 energy to 4, and then just passed. I was like, yeah, I'm in the right track. If this dude can do that, I didn't get a chance. I mean, I've done it afterwards since, but that was amazing. I was like, oh yeah, this is big boy stuff right here. This is what you see in the winter tables.
Awesome. Let's move on. Let's talk about the deck you took with you to Florida, man. If we look at this, this is a complete different situation than Purple Saito. You're still in purple. That's about the only thing it has in common with it. You took Sung Mill with you. That's a huge change up, man. Let's talk about that. You kind of mentioned a little bit like you play testing with D3. You mentioned that this was somebody else's sort of build, and you kind of worked with it, meshed really well with you. Let's talk about this, man. What brought you to with this deck?
So give credit where credit's due. That's D3's Gutless and Legit Vocals. They both experimented with it and found that it was very consistent and did very well. And then when I played it, I could see what they were talking about. With that playstyle, well, so again, part of my Yu-Gi-Oh history, I love mill decks. Lightsworn was my thing. Anyone that knows me, it's Lightsworn. So to play a deck that can mill, I have Father, and Father is good, but this one is in a higher level. To me, it's in a higher tier. Also, solo leveling being one of my favorite anime IPs, it just correlates. It was a must. Seeing the success, having that together, all that contributed to me choosing to go with that deck.
Okay, okay, and then if we looked at it here, like like what was the key? Like, what do you think really made this deck the choice for you? Because I see you're only running 7 raids between
Yep.
the 4 cost and the 5 cost. Um, it's an interesting choice because usually people don't do like 7. It's like 8 or 4 or 10.
Right.
It's never. I don't think I've ever seen a 7 raid setup before. Um,
So if you notice on where the zeros are, there should be a 1 drop there. And I wanted to make room for Kang, if I'm not mistaken. He's a triggerless. There he goes, right there. That man right there was the secret sauce for that deck. And what made him stand out, and I want to make room for him, is he's basically a hidden Cha. I treat him like Pride, like someone who's playing Bradley Kimbley, how they would have Pride in the energy line, and then at the very end turn, they would move up Pride to absorb a Kimbley for impact in 5K game. With him, you just wait for the boards to be with 4Ks and 5Ks push him up and swing under them on top of Chaw doing it. So he got me at least 2 games in Florida, and people not recognizing who he was, what he did. So I wanted to make room for him too.
It is. It's a really interesting choice. I've out of all the solo leveling decks, I think I've played against this one second most. Shadow Army is what I see the most of. It's like the bane of
Right.
my existence right now. But you were there earlier. You were there earlier when I was like, "Oh, look, the Kaisel," and then I went, I'm going to do the exact wrong move anyway and lose the game for myself. So but this deck is also very, very difficult to deal with when you're experiencing it firsthand. And it's just very interesting to see that change up. Now, you're thinking about going to California, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you also have a deck that you have planned for that, and it's yet another just insane change up. Like we're really just moving play styles here. You're thinking about taking Red Eva with you. Um, why the drastic change here?
So Evangelion, I tend to only play decks that I've read or watched the anime and that I'm a fan of. So if you go to my deck collection, um, you'll see very few Kagurabachi because I just got it into the manga. So I'd rather get into the to the anime and the manga before I even go to ID. But with Red Shinji though, the reason I chose that um, one, it's fun to play. It's very fun to play. Two, the difficulty. I think this would probably be the highest ceiling deck that I've decided to take with me to a regionals. Not taking anything away from Saito or Milwoo. Those do take repetition and a certain skill set to play. So, but with Red Shinji, it's challenging, and what I like about it too, it's no one deck is the same. There's key parts, but you can make it your own and either see success, get ideas, but it's very fun to play. I love the anime and I love the mechanics in that of that deck.
Yeah, another interesting out of the box choice here. Your finals 3 instead of 4. Um, Outside of Kikaru, I've never had the stones to reduce the number of finals in my deck. I love drawing finals. I love restanding. I love having the ability to do that AP draw because deck thinning is deck winning, as Raz's Gosu would tell you. Um, but it's interesting to see that you went with that choice again. And was that just so you could add something here that nobody else is really using, or like your own flavor? Like, what was the choice there for that?
Um, a little bit of both. One, I do feel like there are plays in that deck that you don't need a final for, or final could be overkill. For example, anytime you raid the 6 cost Ray and you use her ability to sideline herself and another your opponent's monster, you get a 1 AP reduction on the next Shinji or Unit 01 to play. So don't need a final for that. I mean, could it help to extend? It possibly could, but I find it I find myself when I was playing at 4 that I would have more finals and I'd end up pitching it anyway to get a Shinji out of the sideline instead of using it for what it was. So if that's the case, I'd rather add a Ray or something to help make the mechanics of that engine propel forward instead of hindering and hoping for uh, a final play. But also, I wanted to make room for the father, uh, Genda. I'm probably butchering that name, Hikaru. But yes, he is my AP draw without using APs, and him and Factory is such a sweet combo together to help you go through the deck. It's a little less offensive than most other Red Shinji players, but it fits my play style, and I've been seeing a lot of great success with it so far. Just play testing. I hope I can continue it when I take it with me to California.
Cool. One last deck to talk about here before we really move on with the meat and potatoes of the interview. This is your fun time deck. You know,
Yep.
this is what you're playing this to relax. This is your favorite. It's an interesting choice for favorite. Um, Interesting in that it also coalesces right with like you being a cop. You got this big tough guy, and he's in a law enforcement position. You know, it's interesting that you're connecting with this deck. Let's talk about that.
So with Kafka and Kaiju number 8, it's a special place in my heart because just like Kafka, he started in his program late in life. When I started in the basic law enforcement training program, I was the third oldest that I was third oldest cadet in there. However, I was the oldest to graduate from there. The other two senior cadets they fizzled out, so I can kind of relate to Kafka trying to make it. You have the young Renos, the young Kikrus, and I don't have a Mina per se. But I do have Kikrus and Renos that were pushing me to make sure I made it. Come on, old man, you got it. And I got that with that deck too. I feel it with that deck. Everyone helping out Kafka and his kaiju form. And like I said, that deck is always fun. Win or lose, I just enjoy that deck.
I've tried. I used to have this deck, and I used to try to play it all the time, and it was just one of those decks that I could never mesh with. You know, I always I got beat by it a million times, and I just couldn't make it do anything. And you know, look what we're doing here again. Three three finals. I'm seeing a pattern, Yangief.
Well, when you have the Kafka that free plays a two or less, he's basically a 35 green color trigger that rests and draws for you. And then you have the green color trigger that lets you free play, which, I have a love hate relationship with the green color trigger because more than not, it doesn't usually work out. But again, I don't feel like four APs for me is needed for that deck.
It's just going to be funny because you're going to drop a deck or something at a regional, and someone's going to pick it up and be like, "How many finals are in that deck?" Give.
This is true. This is true.
It's going to be a good time, man. You know, kind of coming back to the regionals with that. Um, you have all these different styles that you're taking. You're taking something completely different to each regional and upcoming regional. How does like when you have your wins and loss ratios and whatnot, how does that variant streak work on your mental game? Does it like ruin it? Like when you try something completely new and it doesn't work out as well, you know? Because clearly, like you're in the right direction, right? You're like, I played this, I did well. I changed it to this, that did well. And now I'm going to play something completely different. We're going to see how that goes. What does that do to like your mentality of the game, and
um,
for the rest of the day, for that matter, while you're there?
tell you the truth, as far as the mentality aspect goes, it is a little or I would say it would be more stressful had I not have a good team and a good foundation. It's the same thing going back to Virginia, going back to anything I've done competitively. I've always had a good foundation. I've always had a good team. I've always had good people around me, and that helps deal with the losses, the mistakes, the disappointments. Um, it does help with that because when you're around strong-minded, good people, you can't help but to feed off their energy and their encouragement. I remember in Virginia where uh, one KFC, excuse me, KFC of the dojo was down around, and he was beyond upset. And we just had a heart to heart, a quick heart to heart. It wasn't a long, drawn out speech, but it was a quick heart to heart. And he ends up getting top 16. And the only thing I heard from him afterwards was, "You were right. You were right." And it's the same thing too. When I came up at 78th, I didn't look at it as, "Oh man, I didn't top 64." I was greeted with, "Bro, your first regionals and you top 128. Give yourself grace. You did amazing." There's a lot of people up there that would love to be in your shoes right now. And I try to that's what sticks in my mind and my mental when dealing with that.
Yeah, dude. That's absolutely. I sorry, my child just tried to invade the studio just now. He was like, I'm coming in there, man." Um, Progressing forward, we've talked about the dojo multiple times now. You just joined it. You're the newest member of the dojo. Congrats on that, by the way. Getting accepted
Thank
into a
you.
team that
Thank you.
has a presence is incredible.
Thank you.
How did that happen? Is that like a result of like your climbing regional performances? Is it like the relationships you've built and the connections you've made? Like how did you end up joining the team?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was something that I did not see coming, by the way. I did not see that. I didn't foresee anything. I played my heart out on both the regionals. I've been playing my heart out in rank two. That's where I've been training. I've been training in their rank servers, and I've been doing pretty well. And I think they took notice of the consistency that I put in the dojo. I guess my attitude toward other fellow players. Um, they probably also just probably took notice of me, saw something that I didn't. And for a while, I've always kind of I don't know if it's humility, but I've always looked at myself as never really that good enough. I always saw myself as either casual or I mean not casual, mediocre or slightly under mediocre. And like I said, my best friend Gerard Cross would always tell me, "You're a lot better than you think you are. You are a lot better than you think you are." And hearing that over and over, and I guess they went back to the dojo, and the family just said, "You know what? We have an opportunity for you, and we would like you to be part of the dojo." At first, I thought, "Nah, they're just messing with me. Congratulations, whatever." But no, he was serious about it, and they were. I mean, they were serious about it, and I gladly accepted.
That's awesome. You know, I know a lot of people vie for team spots and they're waiting for that invitation. It's almost as exclusive as those national invites, right? And when you get one, it's just like, dude, like I'm doing something right, you know? That's very, very cool, man. Um, that being said, you know, with the upcoming regional and whatnot, you're now representing the dojo. How does that change your preparation for the tournament? Um, you now have a whole squadron behind you to bounce ideas off of, and you have people to practice with who are already on that level. And what does that do for you on that higher
So,
level of play?
so because the team invested in me, I also decided to invest in me, and I made arrangements with D3's Legit Vocals, and I took him upon his offer to enlist into his personal training classes. And we've had 2 class sessions so far. I'm taking California serious. I want to take the game serious because first and foremost, I want to do well for the dojo. These guys, they believe in me, and I believe in the dojo, and I want to do my best for them. So I took the steps on making sure that I'm training always with the best. And like you mentioned earlier, I have phenomenal players in a dojo. I am training with the likes of Speed. For those who don't know, he put White Purity on the map. He got 19th in Virginia. I've had the privilege of playtesting with him and battling with him. Right now, me and him are battling for the top spot in rank in the dojo servers for the month of June. Also, Casanova, who's been a phenomenal local a phenomenal player in the dojo, but in the local scenes, because we're both in North Carolina, but he has the Charlotte area. He is that. For those who are familiar with martial art films, that dude who comes into a dojo, whoops the sensei, and takes signs, that is Casanova. Casanova is the sign taker, and I've actually I've made not the mistake, but I went to his territory. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this because I took it last time. But last time Casanova wasn't there, and when I was there, it was Shadow Army versus my Red Kenshin. He didn't give me the same story you went through, but yeah, he did it to me. But it was good. It was good, and I acknowledge their strength. So I am working with the team, working with Legit Vocals, and I just want to put out the best results I can for the dojo. And I believe no matter what I place, they're going to be happy because I'm out there representing. However, it would be great for us, for me, and just for everyone, just to have a good game, have a good experience. I much rather bring the dojo into a great light than sacrifice our reputation and my ethics or anything for a win. So I'm just they're investing in me, I'm investing in me, and I'm gonna do the best I can.
That being said, bro, what does it mean to you to be a part of the dojo? You're investing your time, they're investing theirs. You obviously care about representing them. Like, what does it mean to you to be a part of that?
Being part of the dojo is it feels like being an extension of like a well knit family. What it means to me, the same thing like with representing the sheriff's office. I want to put my best foot forward. I want to make sure that whatever I do, it brings nothing but greatness and camaraderie and togetherness for my agency and also for my team. In Florida, for those who were there, I was the guy with the cooler bag passing out waters and energy drink, and the infamous grape that cost Legit Vocals his first place placing in Florida. Oh goodness! I gave it in good hopes to help nourish, and instead I nourished Eddie's win. Oh goodness gracious!
And now we know who to blame.
Yes, yes.
Bro, let's start looking forward to California, man. Your top 64, that's the classic prizing threshold, for
Yes.
regionals. And you've got the 58th place under your belt. What is a concrete goal for your next major event? What are you hoping to accomplish there?
Well, at first, I was going for let's see if we can top 32. We've been climbing the ladder. We won 28, we 64. Let's bust into the top 32. I think we can do this. But my first class with Legit Vocals, my first class session, he's like, no, you're aiming too low. We're going to shoot for the stars. That way, if you land in the moon, you're still good. I'm like, you know what? That does make sense. That does make sense. And it's not too far off when I'm doing firearms training, when I'm going to the range. Those who tend to shoot, just at about like at an average, I guess, a height, you tend to go low left. But had you been aiming a little bit higher, you'd have a better chance hitting your target. So I kind of can see the correlation again with the job and with training with UA. I'm aiming for top 16 if I can possibly do it.
Hell
I would
yeah.
love to thing, but yeah, we're gonna skip top 32 and aim for top 16.
Let's go. That's what I wanted to hear, man. You know, you're aiming for top 16. Let's say you get top 16, right? By the end of this season, where are you hoping to be competitively? Like where like going into a regional and confidently knowing I'm going to place, where do you hope to be at?
I'm hoping if we're talking about placements, I'm hoping to be one. I'd like to be that face with Red Shinji to do it. I'd love to be that. But I'm more importantly, I'm hoping to just put the dojo even more on the map. I just want us to be even more. I mean, we are growing. We have phenomenal things going on, but I would like to use Cali as that launch pad to launch us even to higher altitude.
Okay. Okay. Given some of the stuff that's come out, like the dreaded Yahiko. That's the boogeyman right now, bro. That's the boogeyman. Um, as you can tell, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal personally, but we've got a lot of that stuff coming out. And then we have people like Speed who will come out of left field with Mayori and just start handing out whoopings like they're buy one, get one free. Right? What what do you think is like a severely underrated card or trigger effect that maybe you're prepping for ahead of the regional, getting ready to see and knowing how to deal with it before you absolutely have to?
Um, I need more playtesting, but the thing that I'm trying to get ready for is actually slime. I'm really trying to get ready for slime, more specifically, I think blue slime. Um, I know a lot of people are talking about green with the whole site destruction and returning a monster from the field. It's just a lot of removal for green, but for blue, a lot of that body spamming of 4Ks and a lot of impacts and damage twos. That's something I'm really, especially. I can't speak for everyone else, but for myself, I don't really have great luck with the line. So if you're meaning to tell me every swing is going to be impact and damage two, that means that's a lot of life I got to try to survive to try to win on just pure skill. So I'm doing my best to manage for upcoming blue Rimuru and blue slime.
Do you mind if we add another speaker to this real quick?
Absolutely.
All
No,
right,
I don't mind at all.
what you got to say, Demonic? What's going on there, brother?
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, in the chat if you could butt in. What's up?
Oh, sorry. My mic cut out. I was just saying. One thing that I've been seeing a lot regionals is Shishio. That's something that I say they should be prepping for as well. I'm just saying it topped at both the regionals.
Yes. I mean, it did top both regionals. I just haven't come across it. I mean, I've seen people play it, and I believe you gave me some preparation in the Rumble Rama that we've played. Getting ready for Virginia. You were our match, but it is a strong deck. It is something that and you played it very well, by the way, too. It is a strong deck. But
all right, I'll shut up now. I'll go back to the video.
You're good, brother. You're good. You're good. See, but I love that. That's the kind of stuff I love in UA. You know, some foresight that he brought up. It's something in my mind because now you better believe I'm going to be looking at those deck lists again and be like, oh, you know what? This is something. This is probably what he was thinking about, and this is probably something I would see. That comment just alone by there could probably prep me for Cali.
He's actually got a pretty decent point too. I mean, it was a couple months ago we saw Shishio top in a regional, and then just in the last one, I think it hit 14th. I think, if I remember correctly.
It was 18th in Peoria, and I don't know what it was in Virginia though.
Oh, no, there was another tournament that it did really well in previous to Peoria, or however you pronounce that place's name.
So I've been doing pretty well with it in Rumble Roma.
Yeah, so we are seeing that specific deck more, which excites me a lot. It's top 3 deck for me. I absolutely love playing it. It's so much fun. Like me personally right now, my top 3 decks, I like playing Red Kaneki, I like playing Shishio, and then my third favorite is Shu. You saw me playing Shu against Cars earlier. And he definitely was complaining a lot about the amount of time my turns were taking, which was 100% my fault. It's actually why I forgot about his Kaisel on the field. My turn was taking so damn long to get through, and with all the filtering and everything, and I was like, oh, that's right, you had that. Dang.
But again, that plays into the mind games too, because Speed is very good at that. And when I play against him, he's always giving me tidbits and advice on mannerisms and questionings that you'll get from opponents, not being malicious, but just like give a little edge on, you not making the best of your turn, them getting the most out of their turn. So yeah, I get it.
So we're kind of like winding down here. One of the last things I wanted to know from you is kind of a fun question. Raid or counter? Like, what is your favorite out of those two situations to resolve, right? Like, do you go for the raid or do you wait for the counter opportunity?
It used to be the raid. I used to love raiding. I think raiding to me is the greatest. Like, haha, now I'm super strong and I get these effects and you must suffer. But getting more and more deeper into the game, that counter just feels so good. Too good. Nothing like someone almost decimating you and they're standing there and now your theme song of your show, of your story comes out and here we go. Draw for turn. And you're doing 1, 2, restand, 3, 4, and it's just, that anime armor plot moment where you just come out and shine.
One final question. I think this is probably the most important question we're going to ask for this entire interview. At the California Regional, will you be wearing your uniform?
Absolutely. You know what? You say uniform. I'm thinking about my dojo jersey. You're telling. Well, all right. So what I will do, I won't be wearing the uniform, but I will have my badge. My badge was with me. I consider my badge as my Yugi Millennium Puzzle. I think the top 64 was having that badge and just every time it was my opponent's turn, just waving and be like, that license is clean.
they flip the special over in life and you just slide it onto the table. Sure you want to activate that trigger?
Yeah.
You gonna pull the trigger on a cop? That what
You're
you
on
want to
thin
do?
ice, pal. You're on thin ice, pal.
Yeah, but I'll have the badge with me. But yeah, that'll be the most I'll have with me as my my uniform is concerned.
That's awesome. All right, man. You know, we've been sitting here for like an hour and a half. We'd had technical difficulties because I'm not smart. At least at doing the live stream video stuff, and we got that resolved. We're okay. I'm super happy that you were able to come out here. I'm glad you're representing the dojo. I mean, aside from obviously Team Sleeveless, dojo is my second home, and I love everybody in there, except for that one guy. You know who you are.
You're gonna give me another job to do, security detail, just to make sure you are right.
No, I made that guy up. He doesn't exist. But I'm so glad that you sat down here with me today. You know, this was a great conversation. I'm really glad we got to talk about the decks and the dojo and the regionals, man. Everybody listening to this, if you had a good time, by all means, pop into Team Sleeveless's Discord server, come check us out, and definitely hop into the dojo where you can interact with all these wonderful people who, honestly, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to play as well as I do today. I would still be just a local lurker, you know, and you know, instead of reaching out and branching out like this. But again, yeah, just, you know, we're going to have invites in the description as soon as I get a hold of Razzie, because he knows how to do that. I know how to work Spotify. I don't know how to work YouTube.
I got you on the invites.
Okay, cool. He's going to drop that into the description, so you'll be able to join the Discord servers. Reach out to us. Shoot us out an email, teamsleeveless@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you want to come on the show, listen, we do this for fun. I will interview anybody. If you want to come on the show and hang out and talk and just talk Union Arena deck theory, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Geef, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you, brother. Real quick, if it's possible.
Sure.
For those who aren't already in there, if you guys would check out the dojo and Discord. Monday we have our heavy hitter tournaments, and Friday we have our, you know, let your hair down casual plays, and we also have some great ideas. We have great people there. We'd love to have you guys. If I see any of you guys in Cali, please, I'll be the only, well, I'd like to think I'll be the only dude there with a sheriff badge. Please come up, say hey. Probably have a good conversation, and thank you for having me, Street. This has been amazing. I love it. And of course, I love our games. We got to run our Sanosuke mirror match sometime soon. You got me on that deck. Like I said, you are my kitchen brother from another mother. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, guys. Everybody, that's it for us for now. Join us in the next time we do this. We do stuff when we feel like it. Sometimes you get a video, sometimes you get a podcast, sometimes you get a live stream. You never know what's going to happen with Team Sleeveless, but we're going to be signing out.